in here. I feel like a preacher. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Mr. Derik Lamar and Crew Show. This is special. I'm going to try to stop moving for y'all. This is a special day tonight. We normally go live Wednesday night, 8 p.m., but we're going to be doing it tonight for Dr. Umar Johnson, who has an event coming up. Not going to tell you too much. What's up, bro? What's up, Annette? So we got Dr. Umar Johnson is going to be calling in very shortly. But I just wanted to say hello to everyone, tell everyone thank you very much for tuning in. This is a special event tonight. I want to thank everyone who hit me with questions. Hopefully those questions, they will allow me to ask them, so we have a very limited amount of time. So we're going to try to get as much in as we possibly can. So thank you very much for tuning in. So go ahead and sit back, get yourself comfortable. Like I said earlier, get your drink, get your cocktail, get your food, put the kids to bed, whatever you have to do. He should be calling in very soon. Matter of fact, here he is right now. Let's get it. Hello?
Yes, sir. Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Umar Johnson, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us this evening on the Mr. Derik Lamar and Crew Show. It's my pleasure. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me.
Indeed. I know you're a very busy man. So, again, I want to thank you for giving us a call this evening and taking time out your schedule. So, but let me introduce you to the folks who had to be tuning in tonight. So it's my pleasure to have one of the most foremost thinkers in the conscious community as a guest on the Mr. Derik Lamar and Crew Show. He's an educator. He's a psychologist. He's a political scientist and a Pan-Africanist. Matter of fact, he's the prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. How are you doing this evening, my brother?
Peace and love, family. I'm doing well, joining you from Philadelphia, getting ready for tomorrow's first lecture of the 2017 Black History Month season, which will be at one of our historically black colleges, Bowie State University. And then I turn right around and I'm at Norfolk State University on Monday, another one of our HBCUs.
Well, that's very special to me because Bowie happens to be my alma mater. So I'm going to have to definitely come out and support you, my brother.
Appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about the event that we have going on tomorrow at my alma mater, Bowie State University, brother.
Yes, sir. It's being hosted by the Black Male Agenda, which is a student organization on the campus. Brother Trey and some of the other brothers as well as sisters, they have put that organization together that's been serving the needs of black males on Bowie State University's campus. So I'm really honored to support our young people, to really get behind them in any way that I can. And so this event being hosted by them on their campus, it's a special thing to have a group of young brothers doing positive work. But at the event, I plan on talking about several things as I usually do in most lectures. I want to deal with the about the changing of the guard, what black America can expect to see in the next 4 years under President Donald Trump after we allowed ourselves to be ignored completely for 8 years by President Obama. I'm going to talk about the political economy of the black community and how our political reality that we deal with in this country, the fact that we're ignored on a regular basis, has a lot to do with how we don't use our money as a weapon. Every culture in America uses their money as a weapon in this country. Then I'm also going to talk about the political disorganization of black organizations, the intellectual masturbation, the different crises that we face, male-female relationships, as well as parent-child relationship crises, as well as the issues of multiculturalism being used as a weapon of confusion against black people.
There we go. And you touched on a lot of things that people were asking me to ask you. And one of the first things I want to say, now that we have selected President Trump in the office, what are your feelings about him going to entertainers, a rapper, a comedian, and a football player before going to our black leaders, our black thinkers, our black business leaders? What is your thoughts on why selected President Trump may have done that or taken that approach?
Well, first honestly, it's very disrespectful to African Americans for political leadership to be going to our entertainers and celebrities to find out what's going on with us. Our celebrities and entertainers represent less than 1% of the entire Black American body politic. So why would you go to them to get advice about us? Well, it's strategic. Number one, you go to them because you don't want real answers. Number two, you go to them because you know that they're not going to hold you accountable themselves. And number three, you go to them because you know that they don't really have much stake vested in the everyday experiences of Black folks. So you can legitimize your candidacy by saying you spoke to Black people, but at the same time, in legitimizing your candidacy by saying you spoke to Black people, because those Black persons were celebrities, you basically keep yourself at his arm's distance from ever really tackling the everyday problems of Black America.
Mm-hmm. It's like you get those people, and I my thought was he went to those people because that's all he sees us as, a rapper, you know, an entertainer, a sports figure. So that, I definitely have to agree with you on that. You also touched on what, as Black people, we could expect. A lot of people reached out to me to say, you know, Derik, please ask him, as Black folks, how can we prepare ourselves? So how can we get our mind around that? We've seen the blatant disrespect, not just for Blacks, but for all minorities. What can we as Black folks try to do to better prepare ourselves for these next, we'll say, 4 years?
Well, first off, and of course we cannot, cry over spilt milk, but we helped create the political reality that Donald Trump is going to participate in by how we sat on the sidelines for 8 years and allow President Barack Obama to take care of every other minority group except ours. So we bear some responsibility for the neglect that we're going to get under the Trump administration. But in going forward, if you say, what do we have to start doing differently right this second? Number one, stop fighting or being concerned about what's happening to other minority groups. If Black people do not kill this multicultural consciousness, it's going to kill us. I'm going to say that again. If Black people don't kill this multicultural consciousness that we have, it's going to kill us. We have a very bad habit of looking out for other groups who never, ever look out for us.
Never.
Under the Donald Trump administration, every minority group is going to be jockeying for an improvement in their own political economic status. Black America needs to do the same, but you're not going to get anywhere holding hands with other non-white groups because they're fighting for themselves. If they tolerate you.
I had another question on that. Let me get your opinion on this. We had a discussion, a few of us. The term African American. Do you feel it's right that we have to put a prefix, or do you think that is a way of acknowledging and paying homage to our ancestry? So some folks, my thinking was, if there's someone who is of Irish descent, should they have to say, I'm Irish American? Or is that a way of separating us from being Americans? What's your thoughts on that, Doctor?
Well, let's keep in mind, the United States of America is not an organic nation state. And by organic nation state, the people who politically dominate this land are not the original inhabitants of this land. So you're not dealing with an organic nation state. So, for example, if you go to Ghana, if you would, okay, you are dealing with an organic nation state. The people who run the political apparatus are also the original inhabitants of the land. You're dealing with a land that was conquered and colonized. So everyone here will have a prefix. Everyone here will have a prefix because America is a nation of immigrants, people who came from other places to come. However, in our case, I do not think that we should have African as the prefix. We should have American as the prefix, and African should be the noun that is being described by their prefix. So we should not be African American. We should be American African. Because when you say African American, you're describing a certain type of an American, which we are not nor have ever been. But when you say American African, you're describing a certain type of an African, which we have always been and can never change. So for me, the prefix should be American, and African should be the noun, not the adjective.
There you go. I like that. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and start using that, Doctor. Now, And I'll definitely give credit that I got it from you. Now, and let me say this real quick. I believe that the Hidden Color series should be mandatory viewing for all human beings. I just want to say that real quick. Can you tell me how you came about putting that project together?
Yes, indeed. Well, first, we want to give credit to the actual producer, and that's Brother Derik.
Yes.
The Colors Project was his brainchild. I had got a phone call from him back in 2010, I guess it was, from one of his assistants, Brother Ola, I believe it was, and
yes.
He said that they were working on a documentary, and they definitely wanted to have me included, given my prominence and rising prominence within the conscious community at that time. Mm-hmm. So we did the Hidden Colors 1, did the Hidden Colors 2, did the Hidden Colors 3, mm-hmm. And, I was just blessed to play the part that I played in it, because wherever I go, people remember me from the
yes.
Hidden Colors, among other things. And, it was just a blessing to play the role that I played. If you ask anyone, who the two top people who really influenced you in that documentary, I'm normally one of the two, if I'm not the first.
Yes.
But I just want to give kudos to all of those who participated in it, because we all helped to make it what it was. But, yes, the credit has to go to Derik,
yeah.
because he is the producer. I was not in Hidden Colors 4. And that is because I'm working on my own documentary, which will be called the Shockumentary, The War Against Black Boys, which is going to be a series of documentaries telling the story of the school to prison pipeline like it's never been told. The special education, the miseducation, the psychiatric medication, the juvenile incarceration, the psychological frustration, the economic castration, and the premature extermination.
Now that I can't wait. So definitely when that's coming, I definitely got to talk to you about that. And I'm glad you touched on that, because we've often heard you speak about the alarming state of the school system, especially in the inner cities. And we all know that right now you're in the process of trying to start your own school. So we're going to talk about that. But what would be different about Dr. Umar Johnson's school that would separate it from
SDMG Academy? Three quick differences. Number one, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy will be one of the first schools, if not the first school, that does not lie to black kids and tell them by going to college you will become a success. Our school will be based on international economics. That is to say that we're not against college, and we will be sending some of our young men to college, because we need a black professional class of lawyers and doctors and engineers and educators, and you cannot become those without a college degree. However, we also want our young men to understand that there's more than one way to become wealthy. There's more than one way to becoming a success. And so we're going to teach them the art of doing their own taxes. We're going to teach them the art of international trading, stock and forex. We're going to teach them different industries, hotel, restaurant, tourism industry. They will have their own business plan. They will understand real estate. So we want to make sure that they are economically empowered to understand all the different avenues to wealth. Constantly sending black children to college has been a great mistake of black America. And as a result, we're dealing with a very high level of higher education debt. And we have over 2 million blacks in this country with master's and doctorate degrees who cannot find work. And the second thing is that the school will be founded on the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism, principles of self-determined revolutionary Pan-African nationalism as taught by Marcus Garvey and the other fathers of Pan-Africanism. So that's another piece. They will have a thorough international understanding of the political reality in which they live. And the third big difference at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, you will not graduate from that school if you are not able to provide your own food, which is to say that every boy and girl who graduates, and we're starting with boys, but we will expand to girls, every boy and girl who graduates from the school will be responsible for being able to grow 6 different food crops on their own in order to earn a diploma, and you will not graduate unless you can speak at least 2 African languages fluently.
Nice. That, and it's something that you spoke on that, because, people come out of college in debt, don't know about credit, don't know about taxes. So that you're teaching them life skills. So in regards to the school, how is the status of it? A lot of people, people have been very critical, unjustly critical.
Yes, people very, very critical. In fact, my brother, it's ironic because exactly 100 years ago, in New York City, Marcus Garvey incorporated the largest black organization in modern history, the UNIA, of which I am former Minister of Education and first Vice President of the Philadelphia Division. But it's ironic because what was the thing that was used to tried to destroy Marcus Garvey. It was his Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. If you know the history of Garvey, you know that it was the Black Star Line that engendered so much hatred and jealousy from established black leaders, but at the same time, so much support from everyday brothers and sisters. And here we are 100 years later, and I would say that Dr. Umar Johnson's Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is the equivalent of Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. Because I'm trying to build this school, so much jealousy and envy from other so-called leaders and scholars has, come to the forefront. But at the same time, I think it has also been a cause for a lot of black folks to rally around, get behind, and support me. But in terms of the status of the school right now, we're still searching for the actual physical school. I've already set a date. We're going to open up on the anniversary of the Nat Turner Award. That's August the 21st of next year, 2018. This August the 21st at the Nat Turner Land. All your listeners of African descent are invited. We're going to fellowship and have fun and talk and learn and conversate with each other on the grounds where Nat Turner led the bloodiest slavery vote in American history. So this August 21st, we will be on Nat Turner Land. Next August 21st, hopefully we will be celebrating inside the first Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy.
Well, I will be there with you, my brother. I cannot wait. Now, I have to mention, a lot of people watch the videos that you post online. I get phone calls. Did you see Dr. Johnson's video? Did you see his new video? I have a cousin who is a big fan of your thinking and your work. And, I have to mention the video that you had. It was a bit epic. And it was a side of you that we had never seen before. But to me, it showed, hey, this is just a real man who just got pushed. That video about Mr. Sethi.
Yes, sir.
That video, and the funny thing, I'll just say this. For all the things that you've known for all the things that you've done, for all the things that you spoke upon, when you have one meltdown, that's the one everyone starts talking about. Can you...
To be honest with you, my brother, that was the most disheartening thing about that episode. Because with all the work I've been doing, and I've been at this for over 20 years, I've saved thousands of children. I've done work in, dozens of prisons. I've helped thousands of parents. The college tours, the parent teleconference, the FDMG. The work I do as a psychologist, the book, the message, the movement, the parent association. I mean, there's so much that I do that I believe is worthwhile being reported, and yet all that gets overlooked, and people will go to the negative and report on a video that I took down not more than 8 hours after I posted the video. It was enough for the person to see it who was directed at, and enough for other people to understand that, I really didn't take kindly to my name being mentioned in a disrespectful manner. But be that as it may, that has moved on. I don't hold nothing against him, brother. I wish him well with his work. But what this taught me is that because of who I am and where I am within the black community, I'm not allowed to have a public moment. And, it's unfortunate, but, I understand because this is the lifestyle that I have chosen to be a fighter for my people. So it did teach me that, if you need to have a moment, you got to have it in private with your friends and with your family, because anything negative done by Dr. Umar Johnson, anything said or done negatively by Dr. Umar Johnson will get far more attention than all of his positive work put together. It's a shame, it's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Well, I will say this. First and foremost, you're a man. And when certain things happen, those things will happen. So I did not look at you any differently for having that type of situation. But it led me, you brought up a point that made me think about, the black community. What are some of your feelings about why the black community as a whole has not gravitated or given you the support that you feel you need to achieve the things that you're trying? What do you think is stopping the average, Joe brother from rallying behind you and supporting the things that you're trying to accomplish?
I would say that I think a lot of them have. I mean, when I look at the fundraiser, most of my donors are repeat donors. They don't donate once, they donate over and over again. I couldn't ask them to do any more than what they have, so I have a lot of support, a lot of it. I would say part of the reason why we haven't raised as much as we want, part of it is because I should have started the fundraiser years ago. I should have started the fundraiser as soon as I conceived of the academy, and I should not have waited until the St. Paul's College was available to actually start asking people to donate. So I have to take some of the responsibility for delaying the campaign. There was people who wanted to give me money for years, but, you know, seeking to be the honest person that I am, I refused to take any money whatsoever until I had an account that it could go into. You know, so that's the one side. I think the other side of it is that there's a lot of people who don't know who I am now. You know, it's interesting. You know, because I'm very well known. Like anytime I'm in an airport or anything, you know, people pull me to the side at the gas station, the supermarket. Our people know who I am, but there are 40 or 50 million black people in this country. So even with the millions who do know Dr. Umar Johnson, there's a million more who don't. So if there was any one segment of our community that could really help me raise more money, it would be the media. It would be the black media, particularly the mainstream. People who had never heard of me, who would really get behind this campaign and really push it over the top. But because they have relationships with white people that they value more than the condition of our community, that's probably not likely to happen because of all the gatekeeping Christ in the black community that white supremacy relies on to really maintain the status quo. I would say the black media is one of the most essential because you can change the whole world by having access to the airway. And so they rely on black media to keep people like me who have very important messages away from mainstream television and radio.
Nice. We're definitely going to do our part to promote that. And I'm getting quick. We're doing this on Facebook Live, and people are showing you a lot of love and saying, brother, we know you, keep doing your thing. You know, and I had one other question about, you know, the finances and things of that.
Sure.
And it's like people become very critical. And if I give you 50 cents, I want to know where my 50 cents going. You know, if I gave Dr. Umar Johnson 25 cents, where my 25 cents going? You know.
And let me say this to that. It's unfortunate because, as you know, black children have been miseducated in America's public and charter school system for a very long time. In the public school system for at least 1954. So you're looking at, you know, over 60 years of miseducation, and very few parents have ever walked into the school board meeting and asked for a business plan. Very few parents have walked into a public school and asked for their child's curriculum. So it's amazing how we've allowed white folks to do whatever they want to do with our tax money and do whatever they want to do with our children. But soon a black person who has a track record of saving our children decides to open up a school. We have nothing but questions. But here's the irony about the financial accountability situation. I don't have a problem with the questions. The problem is I've answered the question 1,000,001 times, and the answer doesn't change. And that answer is real simple, and that is that money is going to stay in the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy bank account until we have enough to buy a school. It's really just that simple. What do you do with money until you achieve the goal? You hold on to it. Let's be honest about something. I'm quite certain that the FBI and the IRS are watching me more closely than any self-hate Negro possibly could.
Yes.
I can guarantee you that they check my emails. I can guarantee you that they on my cell phone. And I can promise you that if I spend 1 penny of FDMG money that was marked for the school and not for me, I promise you they will be all over me. So the Negroes who are constantly harassing me about financial accountability, you can best believe that the government is doing a much better job of keeping track of that money than you ever could.
Yes.
There's a bank account for
Yes.
SDMG, and every check and every money order and every dollar goes into that bank account. That's the answer to the question. I haven't withdrawn. I haven't made a single withdrawal since that account opened nearly 2 years ago. Now, if I made some withdrawals, I think I would have to show them some accounting. If I told you guys, hey, y'all, I had to spend $5,000 to travel around the country, guess what? I'm obligated to show you some plain things. If I said, hey, guys, I spent $2,500 on a lawyer to do some investigating work on a potential property, I think I'm obligated to show you guys some receipts. But I haven't made a single, not a penny, has been taken out of that account yet. Any funds that are necessary for any survey work, lawyer work, engineering work, traveling to go see schools, I pay that out of my pocket. The money that brothers and sisters give to me at my lectures by purchasing my I Am That turnaround products, by getting my book, by paying for a ticket, I use that money to pay for any other things that have to be done. The school money will only, and you can quote me, only be used for the schools.
There we go. You Negroes heard it from the doctor himself. Now I'm getting people hitting me live, doctor.
No problem.
Can you tell us where people can donate to the school?
Yes, sir. Two ways. The first is online, GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Again, that's GoFundMe.com/DRUMAR, where they can mail it in. Payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19132.
Can you get that one more time for the people? Can you get that one more time?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Can you get that one more time? So I know someone's trying to write it down, the mail-in address.
Okay, no problem. FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19132. And I prefer that they mail it versus going to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Do GoFundMe if you know you ain't gonna mail it. If you ain't gonna mail that check or money order, please go to GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar right now and make your donation. But if you think that you have the discipline to go ahead and get that check or money order, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and drop it in the mailbox, I prefer you do that. Because no money comes out of your donation when you mail it. Okay. No money comes out of your donation when you mail it. But when you do online, donating to online platforms, they take about 15% of the money out. So, you know, they kind of robbing us to an extent of GoFundMe because they take out so much of the money. So if you can mail it, mail it. But if you can't mail it, then go ahead and do it online. Some donation is better than no donation. I
know that's right. I know you have to get ready to go, Doctor. I want to ask you a couple more things if I can.
Sure, yes, sir.
I got this one brother asked me, what's your feelings on voting? Does your vote count?
My feeling on voting is this. Until we organize the black vote, it will never benefit us. Voting is a waste of time until we organize it. You can use the vote to benefit the community, but only if the community is organized. Isn't it amazing that black people are organized electorally for everything other than the black community? They already have us organized as Democrats. They have us organized as Republicans. They have us organized as Green Party, Liberty Party. Why aren't we organized for the Black Freedom Party? Why aren't we organized in a party or political union that is about improving the conditions of black folks? We need to divest from the Republican Party, divest from the Democratic Party, and we need independent black political unions. I don't need a black president. I don't need a black governor. I don't need a black mayor. I need black power.
And President Trump has been in office for a week and a half. How do you think in this week and a half and over these next few, how is this going to affect black people in America?
Well, I believe that Donald Trump's job is to finish what Barack Obama started. And that is to eliminate the black agenda from receiving any significant amount of public notoriety and attention whatsoever. You cannot exterminate a people until you exterminate the perception of that people and until you exterminate that group of people from being seen by others. So Obama ignored black people, so he took us off the table. Donald Trump's job is to obliterate black folks. So, you know, the handouts that black folks used to get under Clinton, you know, he's not going to get none of that. We're really at a do-for-self period. This is what this is about. Donald Trump's job is to make America for the white. When he said make America great again, that was a cold phrase. His job is to make America white again. And guess what? I don't care what you hear on the news, white people are loving it. They are loving Donald Trump. I was in the Atlanta airport the other night, and when they were talking about Trump on CNN, the white folks were going crazy, leave our president alone. When they said Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, the white folks in the airport were saying, good, he needs to be. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, white folks are behind Donald Trump. The only reason why CNN and the other media outlets are giving the illusion that white people are not supporting Trump is because they're trying to protect their international interests. They cannot let the world know that the whole American power structure is looking for white domination in the 21st century. They have to keep the illusion of inclusion that they use Barack Obama to paint. So when you look at the media, crucify but they cannot let the world know that. This is a white takeover.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me ask you, since you brought up President Obama, do you feel that former President Obama, or do you blame him when he had that hostile Republican House and Senate? Do you think it was just kind of, it was just a power play thing, or is it just the way it was?
Here's the thing. We know that presidents are puppets. We know that. And my undergraduate degree is in political science, so I know it better than many folks. However, every president is given some domestic discretion. Every president is given some domestic discretion to do some small things that can make a big difference. Black America could not have, nor did we expect President Obama to change the world for us. But there were some simple, small things that President Obama could have done that could have really affected black people in a positive way. Number one, Barack Obama could have personally done something to increase the amount of African-American males in the school system. See, there's three problems that black people have that all America knows are problems: education, incarceration, and economic castration. Jobs, jail, and schools. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, rich or poor, you agree that that's a problem for black folks. You might not agree on how to solve it, but you agree that it's a problem.
That's a problem.
Obama didn't touch none of them. He could have clearly done something for black education. Obama could have said, I'm going to start an initiative to get more black males in the school. He didn't. Incarceration. Barack Obama could have signed some executive orders to temporarily change some of the laws that could have helped black folks. He could have, even if he didn't want to focus on adult incarceration, Barack Obama could have focused on juvenile incarceration. Because technically, juvenile offenders are not really criminals. They're called offenders because they're not adults yet. They cannot be formally charged with an adult crime. He could have done something to reduce the amount of black juvenile offenders and the laws that send them to juvenile detention. He didn't touch it. And then employment. Barack Obama could have done something, at least introduce legislation, to expunge the records of black folk who had served their time to the society 5, 10, 15 years ago, and expunge that record to give them an opportunity to get a job, give them an opportunity to get a student loan, give them an opportunity to get some welfare or public housing. There's some simple things, very simple things that Barack Obama could have done to help black folks, the least of which was pardon the Honorable Marcus Garvey, who is now deceased from unjust crimes levied against him by the United States Department of Justice. He would not exonerate Marcus Garvey, but he found time to exonerate some transgendered American spies. So this is not about white folks now.
That the people had to pay for.
This was about Barack Obama not doing nothing for black folks because he didn't want to. Say that again.
I said that the American people had, and that the American people had to pay for the operation.
And the American people had to pay for their operation. Let me say this about Obama. We give Obama too much credit. Excuse me. We give white people too much credit for Obama's behavior. We want to blame white people for Obama doing nothing for black people. That's nonsense. There's a lot of white people who did not support homosexuality, but nonetheless Obama pushed it. There's a lot of white people who did not support immigration, but Obama pushed it. So don't say that Obama could do that for black folks because white folks wouldn't let him. White people opposed a lot what Obama did for gays and for immigrants, but he still did it. Obama didn't help black folks because Obama don't care about black folks.
It is. You never disappoint. I feel so enlightened and so much sharper and crisper when I hear you. And I just want to thank you. I got one last thing. I know you're prepping for tomorrow. What's your opinions? I watched your video. What's your opinion on the African American Museum, sir?
The African American Museum is one of the greatest institutional forms of disrespect that has been paid to our people in quite some time. I think everybody needs to go. You need to go to see this about how they built the museum, about our history and culture. Mind you, this was not a museum about African American athletics and entertainment. Now, this was a museum about African history and culture. So why is there more attention paid in this museum to athletes and entertainers than to leaders and organizers? It was a total disgrace. It leaves people with the impression that Americans blessed us by bringing us to America, making us slaves because we was in Africa running around butt naked to each other. They made us slaves to civilize us. We fought against that slavery because we didn't know what was best for us. So they was finally forced to let us out of slavery. And in letting us out of slavery, all we've been doing ever since then was shaking our booty, making music, and eating fried chicken.
And taking jump shots.
And taking jump shots.
Now,
A disgrace, my brother. A total disgrace. I want you to go into, and then some people say, well, Doc, you're being overly critical. How can you be overly critical? The museum costs $549 million. $549 million. Here you go. Let's do a comparison. I want you to go to the National Museum of Jewish History. This is what y'all do. When you go to D.C., after you go to the Black Museum, go to the National Museum of Jewish History and tell me if you see a whole floor dedicated to athletes and entertainers.
No. Not, as they say, not near one.
Not one. Their museum is dedicated to their history, their culture, their struggle. Their history, their culture, their struggle. Not their Air Jordans, their dunk contest, and their NFL championships in their concert.
Right. Now, I got one last question, brother. If Dr. Umar Johnson was elected president, Dr. Johnson as the president, what would you do? What would be one of your executive orders?
Certainly. First three things I would do. Number one, black people would be given reparations in the forms of access to wealth. There would be a major bank put in all 20 of the top major black inner city communities in this country, and every black person would have an opportunity to access that wealth, to get a medium to large size business loan, which would not be based on their credit, but only based on how well done their business plan was made. Number two, no black child would ever be taught by another white person again in life. Every black child will be taught by a black teacher. Every school would be under community control, and it is the parents who would elect or reject any principal or teacher who dare think they're going to apply to teach their children and not have to go through them. And then the third thing that I would do is I would go through America, every single state, every single town, every single city, every single county, and I would take every white Jesus I could find and burn them all at the same time.
I'll help you. Well, Dr. Johnson, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to the Mr. Derik and Umar and Crew Show viewers and listeners. Anytime you have a moment, anytime you promote anything in town, please give me a call. I would love to have my viewers and listeners, hear what you have to say. And I just want to thank you, man. I appreciate you. I said, man, don't worry about the haters and the naysayers. You keep doing this work that you've been put on this planet to do. And I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that so much. And just to let your listeners know, they can follow me Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Umar Johnson on Instagram and Twitter. And on Facebook, I use my Yoruba last name, so it's Dr. Umar Ifatunde, which is spelled Ifatunde. They'll know the page because Charlamagne and myself, we're the profile pic from the Breakfast Club interview. And the website, DrUmarJohnson.com. And if they need any flyers for any of the upcoming events, they can text me 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. Consider flesh.
Thank you so much. I'm going to see you tomorrow, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And everybody come on out. Bowie State University. Doors open up at 5:30. Program begins at 6:30. And then right back at you Monday, Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. Doors.
Bowie State, stand up. Well, thank you very much, sir. I'm going to make sure all my listeners follow you, see what you're doing, come out and support you. You a gem to the black community. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And nothing but peace and blessing to you, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Take care.
All right, you have a good one. There y'all have it. Live on the Mr. Derik Lamar Crew Show, Dr. Umar Johnson. I want to thank all my Facebook Live folks for tuning in. I want to thank my brother for hooking us up here. Thank you to Mr. Morse for setting the interview up. Thank you to Rip Radio Network for kind of facilitating the things there. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you very much, bro. Let's keep the conversation. What do y'all think about some of the things that Dr. Johnson had to say? I know he's a very opinionated guy. We didn't even touch on half of some of the things that he gets into. It's no, you either love him or you hate him, but he definitely will make you think. Yes, he's going to be at Bowie State tomorrow. I think he said doors open at 6. Doors open at 5. He's going to start speaking at 5:30. So you can watch him, then you can listen to me live, catch this on ripradionetwork.com. I'm going to be playing this tomorrow, starting maybe about 7 something. So definitely want to keep that going. 5:30. Thanks, Ray. Yes, he is speaking. Thank you. That was my man Eric. What's y'all opinion? What do y'all think about what he had to say? Yeah, Mr. Coleman. You don't always agree with everything, but you gotta appreciate and respect what he's attempting to do. Not a lot of people out there on the front lines doing what he's doing, so I definitely appreciate him. Like I said, if you've gotten a chance or if you've not gotten a chance, definitely go to the National, I always mess it up, the African American, the Smithsonian, the museum where all the black folks. If you get a chance to go there, definitely check it out. Start from the bottom, work your way up, and really take a look at it and see how it's put together. A couple of things kind of ruffled my feathers. A couple of things definitely opened my eyes. I definitely appreciate the fact that we have it. $550-something million. It is a phenomenal place. For those of you that have seen it, you definitely know what I'm talking about. If you walk out of there without shedding a tear, you cold inside. There's something wrong with you if you don't go in there and shed a tear. But I understand that there was a lot of corporations and things like that put that money in there. So there are certain guidelines and things they had to adhere to. So I definitely want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. Keep your questions going. We can. I still got a half a glass of wine here, so we can keep it going for a couple of minutes. But I definitely, I'm probably give him a hit later on and thank him again for taking time out of schedule. He should be getting in town later, getting ready for tomorrow. But again, I want to thank you all for definitely tuning in, spreading the word. I know there was some shares. I seen all the hearts popping and all of that. So thank you. We're trying to make this show grow and do some big things. I'm going to look back and say, man, I had Dr. Umar Johnson on the show. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We're going to play this in case you missed it, in case your folks told you about it and you heard about it and you want to hear it. Tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Rip Radio Network. You can download the app or go directly on so you can catch it. We'll be streaming it there. But I want to thank y'all. It's about, you know what time it is. It's getting late. Want you to go ahead and enjoy your evening. Go ahead and play it again. Listen to it in case it was something that you missed. I know I'm going to watch it again because that brother dropped some gems on it. So, again, my name is Mr. Derik Lamar. Thanks, Ray. Tune in, ripradionetwork.com. Signing out as always. Let's get it.